Welcome back to Korean Cinema Today, the podcast of the Korean Film Council. I'm your host, Pierce Conran, and today I would like to first off introduce our new co-host, my colleague June Kim from Max Movie. Hi there, June. Good to have you with us today.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you today. I'm June Kim from Max Movie. Today we have a very special guest who Pierce will be introducing.
Yes, and first off, of course, the Korean Film Council, we have a great news service if you're interested at all in Korean film. Make sure to log on to koreanfilm.or.kr. Also to subscribe to our newsletter and our webzine, which is also called Korean Cinema Today. And if you want to listen to the podcast again, you can find old episodes or current ones, new ones, upcoming ones on iTunes. Again, just search for us at Korean Cinema Today.
And also, don't forget to catch daily news and updates on our social media via Twitter at Korean Film Biz, B-I-Z, or on our Facebook at facebook.com/kobiz.kofic.
Okay, so today we have indeed a very special guest with us. Recently, a few weeks ago, was the 19th edition of the Busan International Film Festival, and it was our great pleasure to welcome one of that incredible festival's programmers. So welcome to Kim Young-oh.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
It's great to have you here, and it's great to have you here again. Earlier this year, you joined us in a different capacity while you were still the programming director of the Green Film Festival. And so now, a few months later, after your first edition of the Busan International Film Festival, can you tell us a little bit about how that change has been for you? Very different festivals.
Yeah, actually, as I remember, it was May or something. Actually, I had kind of this kind of program.
Absolutely.
Actually, right after, 2 weeks after the film festival, Korean Film Festival in Seoul. Actually, I just joined the Busan Film Festival, and then I just went to. I had to trip to another country to watch all the films or something. So it's pretty much I've been busy, and then although it's been only 6 months or something after joining the Busan Film Festival, but I felt like 3 or 4 years or something. And then actually as the programming wise, actually not that much difference between those two film festivals, because actually all you need to do is just sit there and then watch all the films and then select the films whatever you like. But actually when I was working for a Korean Film Festival in Seoul, actually because of that film festival has a pretty much the specific theme on it, like which is green or environmental stuff or something. So actually I had to when I watch the films, I have to thought about the theme first. Actually, the how the green stuff and then the green elements there was pretty much my first priority or something. But for Busan Film Festival, it was there are a bunch of films out there, and then you have to watch all of them, and then you have to trust yourself, and then you have to trust your tasty, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I have to select all the films there. But yes, totally different size, different scale, and then a different role, and then a lot of different expectation stuff. So yeah, I would say much more responsibility stuff or something. Yeah.
So adding on to what you've just said and your programming duties, would you say that was more difficult because of the size and the changes?
Yeah, actually, it took more time. Actually, because I would say more difficulty out there. Yes, and then because especially actually I'm in charge of Asian cinema, and then if you go to another country in Asia, actually there are young talents out there, and then there are new films out there. Actually, there are especially the Asian filmmakers, especially young new Asian filmmakers. They have a certain expectation to the Busan Film Festival. So when I select films, I have to be more careful with it though, because it could be a really crucial opportunity for them. So actually I just tried more focus on, and then I have to be more with the care. So it's sort of those kind of difficulties out there.
Is it important to kind of create a balance? I mean, there's a lot of countries that are very active with their cinema these days in Asia. Is it important to kind of feature a certain number of films from various countries or to represent the whole the diaspora of Asia?
Yeah, actually, there is some kind of consideration about the balance or the Asian countries, especially when it comes to Asian cinema. But there is also like an imbalance, among those in Asian countries. I mean, certain like in Korea, Japan, China, they're making huge number of films there. But actually, goes to let's say the Nepal or like Myanmar or something. There are a certain number of films out there. So it's almost impossible to keep that balance out. But we are trying to just discover, or we just trying to invite or find more the films from unusual countries.
Absolutely. So a lot of great films in Busan this year. I had a great time. I saw more than it was my third year at the festival, and I think I saw almost 30 films. A lot of great ones, a lot of great ones from Asia, including in New Currents. I really liked Sunrise, for instance. A lot of great Japanese films, the masters coming back with their movies. But let me ask you, what were some of your favorite picks that you were able to add to the lineup this year?
Yeah, actually, that question I got most time. I mean, just before the festival by especially press and media stuff. Yeah, actually, my favorite one. Actually, personally, I like all the Actually, since I'm in charge of Asian cinema, so whenever I get that question, I mean, I usually just name it like Asian films to promote or something, or to attract more audience. But actually, personally, I pretty much like the world cinema. The films in the world cinema section, like always, like Ken Roach, Jimmy's Hole, and then like Boyhood, and then some kind of documentary stuff out there. I mean, I pretty much like all the world famous, world acclaimed directors' work or something. But I think I should mention that this year, actually, we call this year as like the year of Vietnamese films, because there are a couple of interesting Vietnamese films out there, and then one in The Inseminator, and then the Nuke 2030 was the Berlin panorama opening film.
Okay.
And then there are pretty much also actually this year APM project. Actually, the Busan Award goes to the Vietnamese film as well, the Full Moon Party or something by
right.
Pandang B. So actually, this year I saw like the rising of the Vietnamese filmmakers or something. So I would say that those couple of Vietnamese films are pretty interesting, and then pretty much like I really enjoy it, and then others. I don't know, like some Indian films, because I was in charge of Indian films, so I pretty much picked all the Indian films there. I mean, the Margarita with the straw, I really like it. Well. Actually, I'm the one. The first time I saw that in a film clip in India, actually, even the people in Toronto, the guys watch it, and then I kind of feel like that's my film or something, so I have to like it.
Wow. But I heard, I had a ticket that I wasn't able to claim for that. But I've heard great things about it. Speaking of the Vietnamese films, was it also a Gentle? Was that a Vietnamese movie?
Gentle.
I don't know. I was speaking to the producer of that, and he was really thrilled at being in Busan. The film got a lot of good reviews in Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. So definitely a lot of great stuff there.
Like how Biff introduced a lot of world films to Korean audiences. The world's main gate to Korean film industry is also the festival. And so Busan International Film Festival is an influential event. So what trends emerged at this year's edition?
Yeah, actually, we are showing like more than 300 films. And then from like this year, actually, we had 312 films from 79 countries. And then actually 1/3 were pretty much world premiere or something, like, or international premiere. So actually really hard to find that, some kind of trends out there. But I, as the one of the Asian cinema programmer, I would say actually there are a couple of the interesting point is, I mean, actually now we can pretty much actually witness a couple of films from actually unusual countries, as I mentioned. Like actually, we have the Myanmar film this year. What in the window of on Asian cinema, The Monk. Even though it's kind of in a co-production with the Czech and then the Myanmar, but I think it was pretty much like a good sign of there is in the film industry or the filmmaking people there in Myanmar, and then the Nepalese filmmakers was invited this year as well. So there are like pretty much new talent and pretty much like young the filmmakers out there in Asian countries out there. So I think within a couple of years or something, actually you'll see more new films or new great films from those new countries. That I would say it could be a trend or something. Otherwise, I don't know.
But perhaps there was one trend. I think it would be remiss if we didn't mention the huge presence of China in Busan this year. The opening film, the closing film, and 2 of the 4 galas were all Chinese language. The State Administration of Radio, Film, and Television, which is kind of the government body for media in China, they fielded their first ever delegation at the Asian film market. There were a number of parties, such as the Beijing International Film Festival, or EQE, or is it IQE?
IQE.
Yeah, the large kind of online streaming Chinese service. They all had various kind of events at the festival. So, what would you say about that? A kind of this alignment of the Chinese and Korean film industries in modern day.
Yeah, actually, that is another question. Actually, mostly got actually during the film festival because, yeah, actually there is another version of that question.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are a couple of film festival in China with like a huge budget, and then almost same as like a Cannes Film Festival, like a huge budget, and then pretty much aggressive investment on it. And then the Busan, I mean, what are you gonna do with that? Kind of rising, the film festival in China or something. But yeah, actually, there is no way to avoid it though. I mean, it's China everywhere. Actually, there is big market there, and then big money there. And then they are looking for some kind of content outside China. And then at this moment, actually, Korea has that kind of content there. So I don't think this is kind of a competition going on, or it pretty much it's not like actually there's no reason to approach this kind of matter with like only like market view or something.
Mm.
I mean, it could be actually Busan could be a good place to provide the opportunity for both film people or something. And then yeah, just in case, actually this year the Busan Film Festival and then Yoko, there is another like one of the biggest
That's
online
the main one,
platform. It's kind of an MOU or something, contract or something, and then
Okay.
actually they pretty much they invest money, and then they actually 2 masters from China or 2 masters from Korea, and then 8 young filmmakers from the both countries, and then they are pretty much working on a short film project, and then the Yoko will provide like the production cost for the masters or something. This kind of program, I think it's gonna be pretty much okay. And then because Korea needs money, and then Korea has contents on it, so I think at this moment, actually Chinese money actually is kind of inevitable. I mean, yeah,
Sure.
and then they're just we need to find a way out or just a solution to work together or something. And then the Busan could be one of the place
Absolutely.
to provide all the the opportunities and the content, whatever opportunities.
It definitely seems like a mutual exchange of kind of capital and manpower in a certain sense,
Yeah.
where Korea has all this incredible expertise, this know-how for film production, and so all these technicians, visual effects artists, Foley artists, colorists, and things like that, are going over to work in Chinese films, and they're like Dexter Studios are doing some incredible work there. And then, but of course, the Korean industry, the exchange there is kind of the Chinese market and the potential
to get in there.
for earnings there. I
And
mean,
expanding audiences.
yeah, because the Korean audience or the market is almost saturated, perhaps, and the Chinese market is just starting now. It's already 3 times bigger than the Korean one. Within 10 years, it'll probably be 15 times the size. So it's mutually beneficial, it seems.
That's true, though. Actually, yeah. I mean, also, actually, I went to India this year twice. Actually, I met a couple of the producers and then the filmmakers in India, and then is that actually they told me that like there are certain kind of trend there. They are pretty much remaking Korean films there.
Well, they've been doing that for a while, but a lot of it has been a bit.
That's true, though. I mean,
Now
I
they're
said
doing it
that like a
legally.
license or something, but somehow, I mean, they are pretty much, some Korean films. I mean, I haven't even watched it yet, but I mean, they already watched it, and then pretty much they are talking about the story and then everything. So not just in India, I mean, and in China, and then especially in Asian countries, they are pretty much interested in pretty much the contents, like the story and then everything. So, the Korean films. So, I mean, I think it's pretty much natural to work with together, and then the person with the content story or something to tell, and then a person with the money. I think it pretty much makes sense at this time. So.
Yeah, it's modern filmmaking.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. We can see more co-productions coming up in the next few years. While we were talking about funding, I understand that there's AFA and also ACF. Can you talk about a little bit about these different funds that are provided, as well as maybe a couple of films that you want to talk about?
Yeah, actually, AFA, actually, Asian Film Academy is pretty. Actually, they're like the celebrate is the 10th edition this year. That means actually 20 to 25, the students. They're like. They spent like 2 weeks or something together with the dean. Actually, this year, Bellatar was he was the dean of the academy, and then
Enormous figure in world cinema, of course.
yes, and then they're like spend like 2 weeks together, and then making 2 short films or something, and then there is like compare this to like Berlin Talent Campus. They just changed the name though. Just Berlin Talent Campus or Tokyo Talent Campus or something. So there was no any this kind of institution or something in the Asian countries. So I mean, we pretty much started like 10 years ago. And then the good thing about this is, I mean, one of the not just one of the AFA alumni pretty much coming back to Busan with their new project or something. It's amazing to watch it though. So I mean, so it's pretty much good things I should mention. And then ACF is pretty much supporting program to for the independent Asian filmmakers or something. So every year, this year actually we pretty much commissioned 29 films from the script development funding and then post production funding. And then documentary funding, A&D. So, and then this year, actually, we had 17 ACF commissioned films were shown at this year film festival. So it's pretty much, happy to watch it.
That's great. A lot of times when I would sit down in a theater in Busan, the crowds would come up, and more often than not, I would see that ACF logo.
ACF,
Those are often a lot of the best
yeah.
films at the festival.
Yeah, we are really trying to build up this kind of network and then this kind of the supporting program for the Asian filmmakers. Yeah, actually, yeah. And then couple of ACF. Actually, this year we had one film in a new current. It's the ACF. Jarar story, and then
okay.
Actually 2 years ago, the Mustafa Farouqi's film, the television, the closing film, is also one of the ACF funding programs. So, yeah, I mean, we are trying to put more our efforts on not just effort in the money, for the Asian independent filmmakers out there.
And this extends also to the documentary realm. There's the Asian Network of Documentaries Fund, the A&D. And that's, as we're seeing a lot more activity in Asian documentary filmmaking, kind of A&D seems to be at the kind of forefront of this.
That's right. Yeah, so especially A&D, the project, not just showing at the Busan Film Festival or something, they are pretty much got invited to major film festival. And this year, actually, the Stormmaker, actually the winner, this year, the documentary
That's
Best
a
Award.
Cambodian film.
Yeah,
right?
Cambodian film. Actually, the Litipan, he's the producer of the film. And then Nick and Chai, those are two films, A&D project. They're not just showing at in the competition this year, and then also invited to IFA, the International Documentary Film Festival in Amsterdam, the mid-length competition. So A&D, it's pretty much we are getting a lot of attention or something.
So after a brilliant 19th edition with just a huge attendance, some wonderful films, and a lot of favorites for me this year that I saw, I was lucky to see at Busan. Of course, very excited, as are very many other people, about next year's landmark 20th edition of Busan, the 20th edition of the reported Can of Asia these days. I don't know how you feel about that term, but can you tell us a little bit about any big plans that might be afoot for next year's big edition?
Actually, this is really funny thing because, even though it will be a 20th edition of the film festival, and then usually we say, usually celebrating like a 20th anniversary or something. So actually, technically, we have to celebrate like 20 years of Busan Film Festival or something. Not next year, actually at the 21st edition of the film festival, right? It's technically, so actually it's 19 years. So anyway, because of the number, like 20, so I think we have to celebrate something, or we have to make a special event or something. But actually, there is another edition of the film festival for us. So we'll be showing around 300 films from like 70 or 80 countries or something, pretty much focusing on pretty much invite all the big names, like good, excellent films, great films, and then pretty much discover or new Asian talents out there. It will be pretty much the same, but we are pretty much working on a couple of events for the next year. But beside those kind of events, it will be pretty much the same, and then we are pretty much keep our spirit or something, to be a hub of Asian cinema or something. So please, look forward to it.
Well, more of the same when it comes to Busan. That's a good thing in my book.
Thank you.
So we just talked about what's going to change for next year, but I know there were a few changes this year as well. Instead of focusing on the red carpet, it was more focused on films, and also there was the New Actors Award. So if you want to talk about a little bit about the new things that happened this year and some of the successes.
Okay, those kind of stuff, you should ask our festival director, Mr. Lee. Actually, I don't know about it. But as I said, a lot of people, I think as one of the biggest film festivals in Korea and in Asia, we should meet those kind of expectation about the people. So we are happy to invite all the big names and the stars and celebrities or something. But at the same time, we have to focus on our talented filmmakers and then good actors, good actress or something. So actually, we just trying to keep on our focus on the cinema itself. That's all we try to do. So it will be pretty much the same, and then we'll pretty much, we can start it from that ground. That will be pretty much the same, and then we'll just try to keep that spirit always. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say.
On to indie films. What challenges do you see in Korean indie distribution today?
That's really a hard question, though. Yeah, distribution.
It's just not just distribution. It could be also production. There's
production.
Yeah, everything about indie
films. I think that question should go to the Mr. Nam Dong-chul, the Korean programmer. But actually, generally, it's really hard to, I would say, I think we should discuss more about a different platform or something. And then there is some kind of other platform out there to meet a more wide range of people out there. So I think it's pretty much the time is coming. Mm-hmm. We should discuss. Actually, all this kind of discussion is pretty much started from based on the theater or cinema or something. Mm-hmm. But now actually, Yoko, actually I mentioned, the Chinese online platform, and then Aichi, those kind of platform, actually we can pretty much get started. We can now pretty much think of those kind of online platform, and then like IPTV and stuff. But they're pretty not that many opportunities out there, and then not just in the distribution wise. I mean, because I mean, this distribution stuff works, actually, you can make more like the Korean indie films out there. I mean, it's pretty much the same. So I don't know, but we are pretty much, not just me. I mean, not just Busan Film Festival. I mean, there are many like Korean distributors, and they are pretty much discuss about this kind of matter, and then to find a way out to meet more wide range of people out there. So I think within a couple of years, pretty much, we can have more clear, like, couple of other options or things.
We have, I mean, a lot of indie films are made in Korea, a lot of wonderful films that travel around the world, and they receive a lot of support from the Busan International Film Festival, from the Korean Film Council, from a lot of sources. But of course, as everyone knows, it's very difficult for an independent film to make any money. Part of that, particularly in the exhibition sector, is it's difficult for them to secure screens, and that's another discussion perhaps. But definitely these new avenues, all this kind of new media, streaming. We have IPTV in Korea, Internet Protocol Television. And whereas the exhibition sector is growing a little bit, this streaming stuff is climbing digits a year, 30% or something. And so, does this offer, you think, new opportunities for Korean filmmakers in the indie sector to kind of actually make a living and to be able to make more films? Obviously, it's easier to stage a video on demand release. It's not as expensive to have to physically book theaters, and there's a higher revenue potential, or at least a higher cut of the profits.
Yeah, actually, not at this stage though, because I think it's gonna take more time. I think it's more like an audience habit stuff or something, because people just coming to the cinema and then I just watch films there, and then compared to other countries, in Asia, I mean, they're pretty much, like they just watch films or like even a TV drama or something on online, right? Like an internet base or something. But in Korea, even though there is like an illegal, download, platform there or something, but just people just go to the cinema and watch films. But actually, the cinema is pretty much now is multiplex,
Yeah.
and then they're pretty much don't open to Korean independent films or something. I don't think they're gonna do it pretty soon. I don't think so. I don't expect that. So, yeah, I mean, if we are talking about like showing at the cinema or something, I don't think there is a chance out there. So we should consider other more the platforms or something. But usually people don't watch films at via like an IPTV or something, because I don't know. I think it's more like an audience habit or something. I mean, me myself, I don't watch films, in like on a TV, like an IPTV or whatever, internet or something. So it'll be changed, I guess. So otherwise, I mean, there is no way to just get in the, get the screenings in the cinema or something at this point. Other just except in a couple of film festivals, Korea. I mean, there is no way. I mean, actually, there is like a neighbor or something. I mean, online, like portal site. They are pretty much have an indie cinema or something to show Korean independent films, but not many. I think you can pretty much take that chance as a good start or something.
So
but I don't know. Actually, it's really hard question. I mean, people. Yeah, it's just really big problem actually. Yeah, actually, we call this like a family business. I mean, like, if you really want to, you have a desire to make any like a film or something, even a short film or something, you just go to your father or something and just ask the money, or you have to make your own money to make films. And then when you complete the production, you just try to submit in a couple of film festivals. If you get invited, it's really excellent. Otherwise, I mean, just watch it with your good friend or something, and then that's it, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's really
As
sad
always,
things.
it's a difficult reality for independent filmmakers out there. Thankfully, there are some systems in place to support these people with their passion, and thankfully, there are people that kind of go through these difficulties and bring us some wonderful films. And if you're lucky, they get to screen it at a great event like the Busan International Film Festival. And well, with that, thank you very much for joining us and for telling us about Busan and the very many moving parts of the festival and how it's affecting the current landscape of Asian independent film. So thank you very much, and thank you, June, for your. And we'll be having you again from now on. And so with that, hope you've enjoyed this episode of Korean Cinema Today.